Hello! So, as you probably guessed, I'm going to be talking about Pokemon! Now, if you don't know what Pokemon is, crawl out from under that rock you've been living in. Seriously, biggest part of my childhood, which is an awesome thing. And it's not nerdy, just don't like it now. Just saying, not nerdy at all. I don't still play it every day. Come on. Don't be ridiculous. But seriously, Pokemon and I have been having a long, passionate love affair for 14 years. So I am the definition of a Pokemon master. I watch the TV shows, I play the game, I used to collect the cards till my mum threw them all out. Thanks, Mum. I have been playing the game for a long time now, which means I know one or two things, I guess you could say, and I've had a ton of time to analyse the good things and the bad things. So for the purpose of entertainment, I'm going to be talking about the bad things, because there are bad things, and if you played the game you'll probably know what bad things I'm going to be talking about. The first thing is wild Pokemon. So say I'm there, strolling along happily through a cave, a forest, some tall grass. Suddenly, yeah, a wild Pokemon has jumped out. This is what I have a problem with. It's not necessarily the fighting with the wild Pokemon, although running into them every 3 seconds can become an inconvenience. It's not even that. What I have a problem with is how can a wild Pokemon jump out at me? If this was real life and I was walking through a cave, through a forest in some tall grass, I would be able to see an animal coming out at me unless it was very small. So I don't understand how I can't see the wild Pokemon that are about to jump out at me at any moment. It's not like they're invisible, and they're not in Pokeballs because they are wild. So there is no plausible way for them to randomly jump out in the middle of a cave. Some people may be like, Alice, why don't you just use repel? That's what it's there for, remember? Yeah, sure. I could use repel. I could click on the button to go into menu, then click on my bag, then get repel, spray the repel and then walk 100 steps, and then a wild Pokemon would jump out at me again. But you know what? I can't be bothered. The next thing I have a problem with is the Pokemon themselves. Now sure, some of them are super awesome because, you know, they're completely made up, but some of them, Magikarp. Don't even need to be subtle, fucking Magikarp. And there are many things I hate about Magikarp. 1, there is nothing magical about that carp. Nothing. 2, it can only do one move, and that's Splash. Splash doesn't do anything. Magikarp does nothing. It's just there to annoy people. That's all Magikarp is good for. I don't even know how it's possible for me to hate a Pokemon so much, but it is. But don't get me wrong, there are other great Pokemon, like Eevee for example. Some people may be like, Eevee, Alice? Really? But yeah, I mean, Eevee may be really boring in her pre-evolving state, but she can evolve into like 7 different things depending on where she evolves. She could be like all the different type of Pokemon. It's awesome. They should have had all Pokemon doing that. Finally, is it just me? Or is the game itself really easy? Because I myself have never lost a Pokemon battle. I kind of feel like the game would be more enjoyable if I did once in a while. It gets a bit boring being amazing all the time. I have an idea for Pokemon. reject it if you will. At the moment, your Pokemon just faints after all these things happen to it, which I find ridiculous. If I was hit with 5 fire wheels in a row, I would die. So why can't Pokemon die? So here is my proposal. Instead of fainting, death. If you like this video, comment, subscribe, like, all that jazz. And I will see you next week. Bye!